Super Saiyan 3 always had a common misconception about this transformation. It's always been mentioned with drawbacks and being a form that was kind of like end up becoming useless, which in some cases this is true. But there is some hidden truths and some misconceptions about this transformation. And the primary is us coming from that conclusion of Goku using this transformation in Dragon Ball Z at the time of his introduction. Now, as we see, Goku first showcased this transformation against Fat Boo. Now, when he used this form, he's put up a good fight against Fat Boo, but what ends up happening is that this form tends to drain his time left on Earth. So it cuts down all the hours that he have left, and he's pretty much about to return back to Otherworld real soon. Later, we see this form again, but this time it's used by the fusion Gotenks. And Gotenks, Goten and Trunks asked Goku before his return to show him how the form is done. So pretty much this kind of gave Gotenks the idea to know how to transform into a Super Saiyan 3, which there was no drawbacks from Gotenks when he used this form because of the fusion. Now, the fusion itself, the time limit has ended up dropping because of the Super Saiyan 3 transformation. So after this, we see Goku uses this form against Super Buu, who is at this point is fused and absorbed, some of the other fighters. But we later see Goku use this form against Kid Buu, which at this point he starts to lose power, and he's asking Vegeta to buy him time so he could power up back to this form. But now all this happens because Goku was used to using this form in his spirit body and only trained with his spirit body using this form, which I'm going to do another video which go more in depth about spirit body Goku and just how much benefits that he get by using his spirit body, and we're going to go more in detail with that. But pretty much Goku's body is not accustomed to it yet, so there's a lot of drawbacks because the energy that it's putting out, and it drains a lot of ki by him using this. So with Goku pretty much using this against Fat Buu, he lost time on Earth, and then his fight with Kid Buu is draining his ki. Now if Goku was to use this form at the time in his spirit body and stayed in his spirit body, and Kid Buu came to the other world and Goku fought him, then there'd have probably been a different story. Goku probably would have been able to defeat Kid Buu without any assistance, because at this point he won't have to worry about really losing energy or anything like that to that nature in his spirit body form. So things would have been probably a different kind of fight, but that wasn't the case. Now Goku ends up training later on, and we see this play out in two different shows, which is Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Super. Now the only problem is around this time is that in Dragon Ball GT, Goku is fighting someone who's way powerful, who's leagues above this transformation. So, and even with Goku's being in his kid body, which it kind of drains his stamina in a sense, but we didn't really see any drawbacks when Goku used Super Saiyan 3 in his kid body form in Dragon Ball GT. He just wasn't strong enough to take on baby Vegeta. Now we also see this in Dragon Ball Super. Right at the beginning, Goku is training on King Kai's planet, and he has a match against Beerus, which he's no match for Beerus. And at this time, we don't really see any drawbacks happening at this point either as well. So it just Goku is just no match for Beerus at this point. And Goku later on uses this transformation in Super as well, and there's no drawbacks. So the big thing to take away from this transformation is that Goku ends up mastering his drawback, but the whole point is that characters are so much powerful that the Super Saiyan 3 transformation ends up becoming useless for a character like Goku in the series. So there is a way to possibly overcome those drawbacks, but due to new transformations like the Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue transformations, it really is no point. Or in GT case, you have the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, which right out the gate doesn't have any drawback, and the output of power is way much more than what we ever seen. So these are all just little hidden truths and common misconceptions of things. And we even see a display of this transformation in 2 other Dragon Ball Z movies, which is the Janemba movie, where we get to see Gogeta for the first time, and then also when Goku battles against Hirudegan and gets the victory for, you know, the Z fighters using the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, which is the only real victory that we get to see for this transformation. So after that, we don't really get to see too much more of this transformation in like a good light. So definitely there's just some things that, you know, when people say that this form just problems is that the output of energy and how much it drains, there is ways around it if Goku trains, and which he ends up doing this later on in the series, and we see that. But it just wasn't no match for the new opponents that he faces later on. So that kind of throws that theory out the window. The same as Goku using Super Saiyan Blue, which that's more in the manga where they talk about how much the output of the power of Super Saiyan Blue uses, and it kind of drains it. But we don't kind of see this drawback in the anime version of Dragon Ball Super. So that's kind of like give and take a little bit. And now we have new forms on top of that, which is the UI, and for Vegeta, UE, and of course Gohan, Beast Gohan. So those things kind of take away from all those other theories. But this is just something just to showcase some light on Super Saiyan 3 transformation, which they should have gave this form a little bit more shine, but due to, you know, it being introduced around the end of the series, and as well, we should have gave a better chance to have it get the victory against Boo, because usually we've seen the Super Saiyan transformations usually get a victory, where we had Super Saiyan 1 against Frieza, we had Super Saiyan 2 against Cell, and it's only right to let Super Saiyan 3 be the form to take out Boo. But at the end, we ended up getting the Spirit Bomb, and, you know, it kind of was a letdown that in the primary show that Super Saiyan 3 has not gotten a real victory. So that's it for this video. Get in the comments, tell us what you guys think. We'll be back with more videos. We got other videos coming out more on this topic, so stay tuned.